For step number 2, and to a certain extent I've kind of been talking about some of this stuff already, we have product post creation. I'm going to be following this up with a talk about brand post creation. Now ultimately, the page that I was just showing you here on Samsung, this is a brand post where my entire post is all about a specific brand, but relating to an actual product type, not just the brand as a whole. Well, with your individual product pages, you still kind of want to try to accomplish the same thing that you're accomplishing on a brand page like this, except your actual review on that specific product should be much more in-depth and inclusive. You would want to start out just like you would with any post, giving a good title to it. I prefer for product pages to give a descriptive title that does include the brand name and the product name. However, I do recommend avoiding the exact title on Amazon. What I mean by that is if you find an Amazon product page, it doesn't matter which product it is. I can go and look up this particular solid state drive just to use it as an example. This exact product title right here, I do not want my post title to be this exact title. The reason why is because you have tons of automated software out there that is already generating pages on the internet with this exact title. So you want to go outside of that box. Even if this means simply shortening it, if you were to only use something like Samsung 850 Pro, maybe I add the word SSD onto the end of it, or internal SSD. The point here, though, is that you're not using what's on Amazon. That's step number 1 with helping to overcome a lot of the competition that's already out there. Getting descriptive with your title, though, can help you with attracting more search engine traffic. It's much more appealing to click on an article that maybe was titled "My Personal Experience with the Samsung 850 Pro SSD," as opposed to a post that was simply titled "Samsung 850 Pro SSD." If you see these two sitting right next to each other in the search results, which one would you be more inclined to click on? On top of that, I also feel like Google has a lot of respect for these descriptive titles. They know you're not just titling the page with the brand and the product name to try to get keyword traffic from it, because a lot of times there are keyword phrases with traffic using those exact setups. Now, the next thing that you want to do is to have a simplified URL. Anytime you create a post in WordPress, your title of that post will end up getting simplified into a URL. It will extract things like stop words. These are basic words in the English language that really don't have a lot of meaning, such as a, the, and, so on and so forth. There's a whole bunch of them. Well, even though it's already simplifying that URL for you, I really suggest to simplify it even more in a lot of cases. What I mean by this is if you have that really descriptive title, such as "My Personal Experiences with the Samsung 850 Pro SSD," you would have a title something like "Personal Experiences Samsung 850 Pro SSD." But I would then want to shorten that even more and maybe only title it Samsung 850 Pro. If I was going to create brand pages on my site and product pages to where my brand page was kind of like a category page and I had a bunch of different products listed underneath it, I might even want to go a step further than that and shorten my URL down to even 850 Pro and nothing but that. This gives you a clearly defined keyword phrase in the title or in the URL, but the title is allowed to expand on that to make it more useful for visitors. I feel like this is the combination that works the best for both people browsing your site and also for search engines that are trying to figure out exactly what your page is truly about. Now, just like I have done with my Samsung post here, where I have a little section on my product review for a couple of different products within that brand. The standalone product page, if you were going to create one of these on your site, would obviously be much more detailed than just a couple of paragraphs here. But still, the concept of what I've done here and what you would want to do for a full-scale product review page would still be pretty much the same kind of thing. You want to have a basic summary for your product where people can understand what it is and what it's used for. This would kind of be basic information, but then you definitely want to expand on that with as much useful product information as you can. This could be things like different uses for it, and even more specifically, how that product stands up or works out for those different uses, because some products can accomplish the same task, but some may do it better than others, just as an example. You have things like pros and cons. This can even be from a personal perspective. Price comparisons, consumer information, again, focusing on stuff that's actually useful for the end user, things that they're going to want to know that they might be searching for, and also things that they're going to want to know before they actually purchase a product. And then you have the standard stuff that I put all the way at the bottom in a lot of cases, your product facts and your specs, the kind of information that you can commonly find on pretty much any website that's going to be reviewing that product. That again is not the star of your post. All that useful stuff is the star of your post. And all the basic things that can be found everywhere else, that is simply included for the sake of going after semantic keywords, and also so Google simply respects your page as being inclusive about that product. What I mean by that is, if I go and look at this page on Amazon, and I look at different specs that relate to the product, for example, this could be hard disk size, data transfer rate, other things that I've talked about already, the TBW, which is terabyte written. It's a limit on how many times you can write data to these drives. These kinds of words, unless you have a good reason to actually talk about them within the content of your product review article, you might not end up using those words at all, unless you have that basic listing of product facts and specs. Now, for my brand page, I do cover some of this stuff in more of a boring, here's a list of this information type of an aspect, where I just have the capacities along with the model numbers listed out for each of these different series of products. But then I'm also going about this with another tactic where I'm talking about this information in my content. So I am using other specs actually in my content. It's okay to do it either way. A lot of times, though, doing it this way simply gives you more unique content, because chances are there's probably somebody else out there with a list of the capacity sizes and a list of these model numbers already. So you can, if you can make that more natural appearing in the actual content of your article, it really goes a long way towards Google being able to look at your page and saying, okay, wow, you know, he's not just rehashing this information, but it actually appears to be within the context of, standard English writing. So it's more than just a list of the information. If you have a really detailed product summary and a lot of useful product content, it's certainly okay to just have a standard listing of these facts at the bottom, though. But if you can work them into your content, that can a lot of times be even better.